Corey, you play Stokely Carmichael. You have an amazing speech, and I really love that sequence of the film because it's a wonderful showcase of how Spike takes something from a script and turns it into his own and makes it something completely different. And the way that he has those slow fade-ins of the shots of the listeners and the way they're taking in the information. And I wonder, as actors, if you have any idea that's how he's shooting it, if that's going to come off, if he talks to you about that, that's going to come off on the big screen. Because as a viewer, as someone who loves Spike's work, it's why you go to his movies so often, because he knows how to take something and make it different and make it masterful. And that's such a wonderful example of that.
I don't think we were aware of
the
final pod. Spike really, has his process and stays by that. But I mean, during that scene, in that moment, Corey's performance is so incredible, and the speech that he gave, I think those words are still so relevant for right now. And it was amazing seeing, that first take that you did and how much that affected the energy in the room, and you could see, all the extras, everyone sitting there was completely riveted, and they were really, involved in this and involved in what he was saying. And Spike is really incredible, I think, at creating a very real feeling situation when we're on set. Yeah.
Well, what kind of research did you guys do for your parts? I mean, you're based on a real person. Your character, I imagine, is kind of an amalgamation of a number of people. But I'm wondering what sort of research you did.
For me, I mean, it's like you're stepping into. Anytime you take on a character, there's research to be done, but with a character that has a legacy, whether he's living or has passed on, there's a certain amount of honor that you have to bring to it, and Spike, he laid that in, and he was very. We talked a lot about honoring Kwame Ture's spirit and his legacy and what he was preaching. It got to the Spike is like, I need you to go, do this, and I need you to read this book.
Doesn't stop texting.
Like, really is very involved with all of us about, and that's the thing about Spike. He's very detail oriented and he's very passionate, and that separates him from a lot of directors. And for me, for Kwame, there's everything about him that's out there. But for me, what was interesting was the little things, like his charm, his wit, the humor that he had and the charisma that he had. Yeah, from all the people I spoke to about that would hear him speak, they talked about how there was that lean-in factor, that he was just the kind of guy that inspired action in people in a beautiful way, and he spoke about love. But it was crazy sitting there saying these words about police shooting, black people in the backs in the streets like dogs, by being shot by white racist cops, and then telling these words, like we were saying, to these extras who hadn't heard it before, who were sitting there like, is this 1970s or are we talking about today?
It's like the intention of the whole movie. Every scene of the movie pops as if it could be happening right now and not within the 70s.
Exactly. And I think Spike is just like, we didn't know that day. Like, we saw him stealing extras and stealing background artists and putting them in the back and shooting their faces and really allowing them to be a part of this film. And speaking to them in between takes and talking to them about the history, about this, getting up and playing music from the times. And at one point, we were doing the electric slide. And
we were all about dancing.
We were just having such a good time. I mean, I'm sure it was different from
for
that
guys,
experience. But
we were having a great time.
Only slightly.
But it was full. It was lived in, and I think it serves, again, the message of the film.